change before climate change. See, that development is not just cutting forest, exploiting resources and putting buildings. Development is how you understand the rhythm of the nature.
How much did you learn about India?
Well, India is a very beautiful country. I never had any issues. People said, don't go to Manipur because the state is burning, and But I just went there, and both the Bukis, Metis, I have friends in both the camps, and they took care of me.
Then why did you choose cycle?
Operation Sindoor was happening, and I was right at the border. I could actually see the missiles flying and bombs exploding, and so I could hear all of them. I thought climate change is something that everybody would be aware of.
But then it's only in words, right?
Correct.
When you came to Kerala, how was your experience?
I had never seen the Kerala the way I saw during my cycling journey, and now I know why it is called as the God's own country.
നമസ്തേ. കാലാവസ്ഥാ വ്യതിയാനത്തെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള സന്ദേശം ആളുകളിലേക്ക് എത്തിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി 20,000 കിലോമീറ്ററോളം സൈക്കിളിൽ സഞ്ചരിച്ച ജയന്ത് മഹാജനാണ് ഇന്ന് എനിക്കിപ്പം ചേരുന്നത്. നമസ്തേ. Sir, traveling around 20,000 kilometers for spreading the message of climate change. What made you take such a decision?
So, see, I have been a professor of business management. And when I used to walk in the class, see, normally business management is all about maximizing your ROI. You put some money and how much more can I get?
Yes.
That's the only question that you generally answer. But then I started asking myself when I walked in the class, that profit is coming at what cost? Who's paying the real price for it? And then that's where I was rudely surprised when I started getting my answers, is the nature which actually pays the real cost.
Yes.
It's you exploit water reservoirs, you exploit mountains, forests, and that is where all your money is coming from. So you're destroying real wealth to get the money.
Yes.
So I wanted to dig deeper and see what is it that we can do to mitigate this problem. And that was one part. Second is, of course, I wanted to explore the country. So our country is so rich and diverse, and we always read in the books and magazines unity in diversity, and so I wanted to experience it myself. Go to every corner of our country and experience it. Meet the people, experience the food, the culture, everything. So I thought, best way is to travel and actually go there, and not just read and watch documentaries.
Then why did you choose cycle?
See, okay, what happens is, in fact, when I was planning this journey, everybody suggested, why don't you just, don't leave the job. Just take a flight, take a train, whenever you have vacations, go and see the country. Why you want to just leave everything, leave a good paying job and be comfortable, So, but what happens is, when you go by a car, you're insulated. You have your own world. You turn on your music, your air conditioner, and you're just going. Or same by the train, same by flight, and it's very structured.
Yes.
Now you go to a place, you click some photographs, you click some selfies, and it's a very synthetic experience. Like go to a hotel, everywhere you pay money, you get services, that's it. So you don't really experience the place in its raw form. But when you are cycling, of course I enjoy cycling. I have been cycling for quite some time now. I've cycled in the Himalayas, on all the mountains. So I've been an outdoors guy right from my childhood, thanks to my father. But so I thought cycling is the best way, because then you are really open to the elements, and it's very unstructured. I tried planning, but then I realized you can't really plan a journey like this. So I just took my cycle to Gujarat and started cycling. Okay. And that way you meet people stop on the way, they're curious. Somebody will just take you home because you're a traveler.
Yes.
And so you just go to a place, you feel like staying there, you just stay there, so you're not bound by any constraints. So that's where and cycling is it's like a slow travel.
Yes.
And slow travel is the best way to absorb things.
Yes.
So you're exploring, you're not really a tourist. That was the whole idea of using a cycle for my journey.
When did you start this journey, and from where did you start, and what was your first destination?
So I started this journey on 23rd of January 2023. Okay. That was just, I think, a day after the Ram Mandir was Prime Minister Prana Pratishtha happened. So I was in a place called as Nadabet. So Nadabet is in Gujarat, that's a starting point of India-Pakistan border.
Okay.
And so I wanted to actually start from Indo-Pakistan border, go all around the country and conclude my journey there. So if you look at that, so when you go around the country, the border of our country is about 22,000 kilometers. So of course you can't cycle everywhere, there are parts where you can't go. So that way if you just subtract a few, then your cycling journey comes to about 21,000 kilometers. So that was the plan. So I started my journey on from Nadabet. Yeah.
So you covered the whole border of India.
Yes, almost.
Almost.
So that was a plan to cover the entire border. But what happened was when I was almost nearing Nadabet, I was short off by 500 kilometers. That's where Operation Sindoor was happening, and I was right at the border. I could actually see the missiles flying and bombs exploding, and so I could hear all of them. So that is the time I was in Jaisalmer. And then my next stop was going to be about 2 days I would have taken to reach Nadabet. But then I had to conclude the journey because I didn't know when the whole thing was going to stop, and it was getting a little dangerous. The family was also getting worried. I said, okay, fine, I'll come home. So then hopefully I'll finish that part some other time. But yeah, but I finished almost everything. Yeah.
How was the journey actually?
Very enriching. People really, my friends, family, they had their concerns. Will you be safe?
Yes.
What will you do about your food? But I never had any issues because people always were very kind across the country, despite of not knowing the language. Like when I was especially when I started my journey in Kutch, in Gujarat. If I'm in a village, I could just walk in somebody's house and they would make me their family member, and I would just stay there. The extreme other end of our country, Mizoram, for that matter. People, especially when you go to remote areas, just speak Mizo. But and of course, I never even heard Mizo. That is the first time I am hearing how Mizo is spoken. But I never had a language barrier. People were always ready to help you. So, and it's such a safe place. Like I could just keep my cycle stuff anywhere, just go anywhere, and never had a problem. So, India is a very beautiful country. I never had any issues. People said, "Don't go to Manipur because the state is burning," and But I just went there, and both the cookies, Mathis, I have friends in both the camps, and they took care of me. So I had a very beautiful experience. Yeah.
Actually, as you said, when we are talking about climate change, we know our development is one of the main reason for climate change. But we can do development without hurting, without making any problem to our environment. So such type of development should come in India, right?
Absolutely. So see, first of all, how do you define the word development? Because normally for us, development is, okay, you have a pristine, beautiful forest. If the forest is standing as it is, then it is undeveloped.
Yes.
So for me to develop the forest, you cut the trees, you make something out of it, you make money, and then you put buildings out there, and that becomes development. So we have a very wrong notion of development. We have a very wrong definition of development. And unfortunately, this is also what keeps bothering me as a business management professor, because that is a definition I teach my students also. Yes. It is there in all the books also. And that is the main cause of climate change all over the world, because we understand development in such a wrong, skewed way, right? So we have to see that development is not just cutting forest, exploiting resources and putting buildings, right? Development is something which is how you understand the rhythm of the nature and live in that rhythm, and everything that you do has to be in that rhythm. Then you are really developed. Now, of course, this is very abstract. We can go in the details, but maybe some other time.
Like when you traveled across the borders of India, what did you feel about the problems the environment is currently facing?
Oh, I think awareness is the biggest problem. That's what I realized. Of course, even I thought climate change is something that everybody would be aware of, but maybe they're just too lazy.
But then it's only in words, right?
Correct.
No one is ready to make real change.
Everyone in fact, that is one part of it. That is exactly what I thought. People will be aware, but nobody wants to really take that step, But I discovered that especially at the grassroots level, There's a, and even people, so-called educated people like us, there's a massive lack of awareness itself. Even the words are also not there in the dictionary of climate change. So when you speak to them, then they would say, okay, how does it really matter? Okay, if it's hot outside, I'll just turn on the AC, you know. So they don't understand, they don't see themselves in a whole bigger context of the whole Mother Earth. So that awareness and awareness at most of the levels itself is. I mean, I spoke to drivers and panwalas and chaiwalas and the senior bureaucrats, senior politicians. I spoke to students in IIT Madras, different universities, government schools, everywhere, and especially the problem which I noticed is lack of awareness of this whole concept of climate change.
Then how do you think we can make people aware of this?
So there are multiple ways. Honestly, the big corporations, the governments, they have to play a big part in it. But and this is what I normally hear. Like when I say climate change is a big issue, people would say, "Okay, government is not doing. What can I do?"
Yes.
I'm just a small person. But I am a big believer of individual action. So we all, if we have to call ourselves educated, first. Understand this whole message which I was carrying, change before climate change. So we have to change ourselves, our own habits. That is, our habits are very consumeristic in nature. Just consume without bothering how it is going to impact our climate, how it's going to impact our environment, nature. So we have to change our habits, live more sustainably. And once we do that, once we have changed ourselves, then spread this message across in our circle of influence. And if each one of us keep doing it, I'm sure the awareness will become more and more people will be aware. Like for example, if I would have been sitting at I had a nice cozy job and say, okay, why should I care, so then probably nothing would have happened. But then I chose to, okay, just get out of my comfort zone, and now at least I managed to speak to a few thousand people, of which at least few hundred people will be aware, and 10 people will take action. Hopefully those 10 will influence a few more people. So I think at least at individual level we have to do. But yes, the major part has to be done by the government and the corporations, which unfortunately I don't see it happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you are traveling this many kilometers, it took I think around 2.5 years, right?
Yes.
Like, you started in 2023 and it was coming
About
to an end by
one and a half year.
1.5
actually.
years. Yes.
Yes.
So this much long time outdoors.
Yes.
Like you have never been your home or your comfort place. Nothing was there.
Yes.
And you had to travel through different type of terrains, different type of people, different type of food. So
Yes.
how much did you learn about India?
Oh, lot. I think this is the best way to learn about any place, and especially our country. See, reading about the diversity is one, but actually experiencing it, it's amazing. Like for example, if I'm in Tripura and just 100 meters, I cross into the Mizoram border, and the entire culture, food, people, everything changes. Experiencing those changes. I am in Gujarat and just crossed into the Maharashtra border, everything starts changing. So this is very interesting how this happens. Why it happens, I still don't know. But yeah, seeing it happening itself is it's a miracle. And meeting all these people. And one thing common across the entire diversity is the Indianness, that the spirit of Indianness people
National.
have, and the Atithi Devo Bhava, that mantra,
Yes.
like the guest is God. I could actually experience it beautifully. So yeah, it was to experience this diversity, different cultures, and the love of people. It was really nice.
Did you feel like your journey, your effort of taking this message to many people has given you a positive result?
Yes, definitely. In fact, I was speaking in a school, and after I talked about how consumerism is bad and we should cut down our consumerism. Only that is the only way to save climate. I could make it as simple as possible for
Yes,
school
yes.
school children. And there's one boy who got up and asked me, no, sir, you will be going all around the country for so much long time, away from your home, everything. And if nobody listens to you, how will you feel? I was quite surprised by that question. I thought about it. Then I realized, okay, at least probably if assuming nobody listens to me, then at least I'll be happy that I did my bit.
Yes.
I tried my best, and I think that is the approach which all of us should have. And but fortunately for me, I did receive a good response from people. Whomever I spoke to, they were inspired to do something about it. Of course, not everybody listens to you.
Yes.
In fact, I went to some very reputed universities, and the faculties were like completely against. They said climate change doesn't exist. You are just peddling fear. It's a natural phenomena. So then, of course, then you speak with data. But so I met those deniers also, a lot of them. But fortunately, I had like I'll give you one small incident where I was cycling through the run of Kutch, and there was this boy from Bangalore. He must be in his mid-30s. I forget his name now. So he was biking all around the country. So he saw me cycling. He's coming from the other side, and the entire desert, nobody, just us. So he looked at me and stopped, and we started talking. And he said, what you're doing is really wonderful. When I go back to Bangalore, I'm just going to keep my bike aside and work with some NGOs to plant trees and do my bit, and start cycling. So I said, I mean, everybody you meet, people will say this, nobody's going to follow. So of course, 1.5 2 months into my journey, I forgot. I had reached Calcutta by that time, and suddenly I get a WhatsApp message. No, this is my garage. This is my motorbike. This is my new cycle, and this is these are the NGOs I'm working with to plant trees. And I was very happy to see that I've made the difference to that one person. Similarly, so there's one again. I was speaking in a school, and there's some girl. So after I finished my climate change bit, talking to them, she says, every birthday I buy new clothes. I force my parents to buy new clothes. She's a school level, 8th, 9th
Yes.
standard girl. Is it bad for the climate? So I was like, okay. I mean, she's actually confessing in front of the whole class and asking me this question. I said, of course it is bad. If you don't need them, you should not buy.
Yes.
So then she said, okay, next birthday onwards, I am going to ensure that I call all my friends and we go and plant trees.
Wow.
I will stop buying clothes, unnecessary clothes. So I think, so I've had many of these kind of incidences. So I at least a few hundred people I would have influenced. So is that a big number, on a big scale? The answer is no.
But transforming one person is also having its value, right?
Yes, yes. So I mean, have I made a difference to the best ability, to best of my abilities? The answer is yes. Yeah.
Are you satisfied?
Yes, I'm satisfied with what I'm doing, but a lot still needs to be done, and well, I continue to do it. So like I'm partnering with, I'm working with Mr. Thomas Lawrence with his organization Save Wetland International Movement Swim. He's been a big support. We have our NGO Tadagat Foundation. We have Khula Asman. Multiple NGOs who are working for this cause. I work with them, and we try and do our bit to make a difference. But so the work has to continue. But yes, I'm satisfied, to whatever I have done so far and what I'm doing. So
You have been in Kerala during your travel.
Yes.
So, like when you came to Kerala, how was your experience?
beautiful. So I had never seen the Kerala the way I saw during my cycling journey, and now I know why it is called as the God's own country. That's extremely beautiful. But then, of course, it was very not so nice to see the damage
Yes.
which is happening from the climate change perspective. Like I was in the same place,
Vallikavu.
Vallikaval, right?
Yes, it's in Kollam.
Before Kollam actually,
Yeah,
before Amritamai. So I had a very interesting, beautiful experience there. So I was cycling, and there was a beautiful patch of island with backwaters here and Arabian Sea here, and I was cycling. And Shaji, so I was just besides the house drinking water, stopped my cycle, and this person, he opens the gate and he sees me. So he invited me, for chai. His name is Shaji, ex-coastal guard, and now working for some bank, IndusInd Bank, I think. So then the conversation went on. I met his father. He was an ex-fisherman in his younger days. Now he's pretty old. But then he told me about how climate change is impacting him, how the rise in sea temperature has reduced the fishes that he is able to catch. there's a black sand, how black sand mining has, because of that, the sea has come by about 4 kilometers inside the land, and how it's going to impact the entire ecosystem of the backwaters. So there's a lot of damage being done. Same, and I'm seeing it everywhere. It's not just Kerala, but that's true everywhere. You take Meghalaya, you take Konkan, you take Maharashtra, everywhere. So it's unfortunate, but yes. So I love Kerala, very beautiful, but the damage which is happening is also a big concern.
Yes. So, like in Kerala, what are the things which we can do to make the environment better?
See, obviously, whatever is damage is happening, it's because of increasing in consumerism and apathy of people. They don't understand what they are losing, unfortunately. So the first thing which has to be done is spread awareness and motivate people to take action. you know that is the most important, and the more aware citizens we have, better it is to build that whole movement to ensure that we have a better climate. So I think awareness is the key. So yeah, that's what I can say. Of course, there are many things that a government has to do, and there are a lot of projects which are happening which are actually damaging the environment. But that's a larger discussion,
Yeah.
at a macro level. But at least the fundamental thing we all have to do is spread awareness.
Which was the unforgettable moment you had in this journey?
Oh, many of them, many of them. In fact, honestly, my every day was different. Evening would be different. Next morning, I don't know what's going to happen. And there's so many beautiful memories that I have.
Is there something which changed any of your ideas or your life?
Yes, and I would like to typically mention a few people.
Yes.
And incidentally, they are, from our definition, not educated.
Oh.
Like I was in Chambal Ki Ghati. That's area which spans across 3 states: Madhya Pradesh, UP, and I forget the other state. Okay, Rajasthan.
Rajasthan, okay.
It goes around that, and I was staying with one of the sadhus there. Okay, he's so-called uneducated. Okay, but when I stayed with him and when I listened to his views on nation building, on climate change, and what he is willing to do, was amazing. That really transformed me. So here's a so-called uneducated professor, and I have done my PhD in management, a lot of corporate experience. I've had 3 students studying under me, but I spent 3 days just listening to him. I met one person. His name is Ranjit Singh in Jalandhar in Punjab. Now this person, he must be about 60 plus, maybe a little more. Since 2006, he has a puncture shop. He's not educated.
Okay.
He probably is not even crossed 2nd standard.
Okay.
But when he has no business in his puncture shop, he takes his cycle and goes all around Jalandhar railway station and plants trees. Over last few decades, he's created a whole urban forest. Now here is a so-called uneducated man who has so much of concern for the planet.
Yes.
I met a person, his name is Ranjit Singh Tamang, when I was in a place called as somewhere near Namchi, in Sikkim. Okay, a little 20 kilometers away from Namchi. I forget the name of that village now. Okay, now so I stayed with him. Okay, Ranjit Singh Tamang. Again, he probably would have just not even finished 10th standard. Now, when I was cycling on that street, all the houses are cement houses. His house is the only wooden house. He said, so I stayed with him for 5 days. I stayed with him, and he said, I care. I love nature. If I build a cement house, I know it's bad for the environment. So that's the reason I've maintained this as a wooden house. And he also told a story where in I think 2012 or something, there was an earthquake in that area. All the houses fell. His house was only standing. He said, see, but still nobody learns a lesson.
Yes.
So these people, there's so many stories. I can just go on and on. But the reason I'm highlighting these specific ones is these are like so-called uneducated people of the society, but they are the ones who really understand what the real human being means. If you have to stay as human beings on the earth, this is what you have to do. Unlike most of the so-called educated people that we are. So these people have really had some transforming impact on me. Yes.